The first time this man tried
The
to win over
Yandere stuffed
Yandere,
him in a
when
sack
she was
and took
bored,
him
she
home.
used him
When
like
she
a
was
toy.
tired,
She
when
used
she was
him as a
hungry,
pillow.
he
But
even
it was
had to
not
cook
until
noodles for
finally
her.
Yandere was destined to fall for the male lead and
he decided to
abandoned him.
strike
She was
first.
drugged. He got there before the male lead
Afterward,
could. He staged a tragic
Let's
scene
break up.
and
His
prepared to run away.
desperate little kitten scrubbed herself
4
until
years
her skin
later,
broke.
hearing
I
she was
thought
going
the
to
plot
marry
had
the male
ended
lead
that very
again.
night. She
She
imprisoned
slowly
me,
stripped
then
off her
begged
clothes
with obsessive,
Brother,
humble
I
longing.
watched for years.
I'm
not dirty
looking
anymore.
at the
intimate
intimate
marks
my
on
eyes
Baining
turning
Bing's
red,
body my friend's
and
angry
Baining
scolding.
Bing trying to come
I
forward
stepped back
and explain
and avoided her
disappointment
hand.
Mixed with anger.
Is
was
this what you
written
call the
all
business
over my
not like
face.
that, brother.
You're the
Baining
only
Bing
one I
stopped
love.
talking.
With those marks on your
My
body,
heart hurts
brother,
so
you still
much.
deny
This
it.
has
I'm
to be a
begging you.
misunderstanding.
Believe me,
looking at
lowered
those
her
intimate
head.
marks
Her
on her
eyes
body.
reddened as
She
if
wanted
she was
to
about to
explain.
cry.
No words
She
came
could
out.
only look at me with
But I
pleading
still said
eyes.
firmly,
I'll let you two be
Baining
together.
Bing
Break up.
swayed as if she could
Her
hardly
gaze
stand.
shattered
Break up?
completely. My
Yes,
heart ached
I
and left
My
in a
friend
mess.
immediately
His
chased
comforting
after me.
words
Filled
When
my
the old
ears.
one leaves,
It's not
a
worth
new one will
hurting
come.
over.
A
That
scumbag
Baining
woman
Bing
is
I
really
used to envy
something.
you two for growing
You
up
spoiled
together.
her like a treasure
I
since
even thought she was
childhood.
loyal
Different
and
from
deeply
other
devoted.
women.
Out, it was all
My
fake.
chest hurt so
that I could
badly.
barely
It's not her
stand.
fault.
You don't understand
that we
I'm
couldn't
just
make it to
sad.
the end.
My friend patted my back with a
Feng
pained
Yuan,
expression.
no matter how
If she
much you
cheats
love her,
once,
this
there will
won't
be a
do.
second
I was
time.
heartbroken
But what
because
hurt me
Baining
was
Bing had
I
betrayed
had to
me.
let her go
She did
completely.
not sleep with
She had
anyone
done
else.
nothing
3
wrong.
months earlier,
I accidentally bumped
that
into a
night,
boy.
I had a dream.
In the dream, I learned that this
The
word
female
was a
lead
book,
was
but the
Baining
male
Bing.
lead
I,
was not
Feng
me.
Yuan,
The male
was
lead
only
was the
cannon
boy who
fodder
bumped
support.
into me that day.
After
That the
meeting
bond
him
she had with
was
me
Baining
since
Bing
childhood,
would
she
realize
would gradually fall in
while
love with
I,
Fu
the
Jingchen
cannon
fodder
by
support
I would hurt the
possessiveness
male
toward
lead
Baining
again and
Bing.
again. Baining Bing's
And my
last
parents
would
affection
also
for
target
me
and suppress the
until
male
our
lead
whole
again
family
and
was
again
ruined. At
because
first,
of me.
I
But
did
no
not
matter
believe
where
it.
Baining
Fu
Bing and
Jingchen's
I
shadow
went,
would always
when we
appear.
went shopping,
He was handing out flyers
when we
by
ate
the
at a
road.
Western
He
restaurant,
was the waiter. Even when I deliberately
and took
changed my
Baining
college
Bing to
choice,
a university
Fu
in
Jingchen
another
still
province.
appeared there without
Miraculously,
exception.
he even became
It was as if
Baining Bing's
everything had
classmate
been
in the
destined.
same
I saw
major.
him walking
And
countless times,
accidentally
or
bumping
riding a
into
bike and
Baining
scraping
or
or
Baining
getting
Bing's
bullied,
car.
and just happening
Even
to be
though
seen by
Baining
Baining
Bing
bullies
nothing.
left directly
Yet
because
Fu
of me.
Jingchen still
And
treated
gave her
Baining
wool
Bing
carving
as
to
his
me
failure,
himself,
gladly
but
refused
that was
it.
not enough to give me any
Instead,
security.
I became
because in
even
the book
more
she had
terrified.
treated Fu Jingchen
Fu
like his
Jingchen was like a
athletic
chicken
making me
pan
clearly aware
that
at
my
every
precious
moment,
treasure
no
would be
matter
taken
how I
away.
avoided their meetings,
They would always meet in some
in the book,
other way.
Baining Bing's
Began with a
feelings
car
for
accident.
although the
Fu Jingchen
accident
still
was
wanted
not
to stop it
serious,
from
so that
happening.
day
I tried to stop
Baining
Baining
Bing
Bing from
did
going
not
out. I just wanted to stay
She
in
lay
bed.
in my arms
Brother,
and kissed me.
if we don't get
I
up,
held
we'll be
her
late.
pressed her onto the bed and pulled her
Baby,
into my
you are
arms.
not going
Just
anywhere
stay
today.
home with
So
me.
bossy.
But what if I really want to go to
Unless-
class? Tell me something more tempting to do
Her
at home.
playful fingers slid from the tip of my
Her
nose
gaze
to
was
my lips. I saw
obsessive.
through her intentions.
I grabbed
at
her
once.
finger and bit it.
Baby,
She chuckled
don't
and
tempt
slipped
me.
her hand under my
So
clothes.
what if I
After
do
saying
tempt
that,
you?
I blocked
She
her from
lifted her
kissing my
head to
Adam's
kiss
apple
pouted
with my
and
hand.
kissed the
In
back
a
of my
sticky,
hand.
clingy voice,
The hand
she
making
called,
trouble on my
"Brother!"
chest made
I cannot
heat
hold
rise
back
in
anymore.
me. Both her hands above
In
her
the
head
end,
and
only
kissed
after
her
I kissed
for
her
a
and
long
she
time.
did
And
listen
she
to
stayed
me.
home
Did I
the
stop?
whole time
I
and did not
but
go
the
wrong.
next day,
When I drove by Ning
car
Bing to
lost
class,
control and
only
crashed
then
toward
did I
us. The
realize
situation
nothing
had
had
become
changed.
even
Even
worse.
Baining Bing threw herself
Putting
in
herself
front of
in the
me
most
at the critical
dangerous
moment.
moment.
I had no
Consciousness
wounds
at
but
all.
Baining Bing was covered
When
in
we were
blood.
carried out,
I saw Fu
giving
Jingchen
Baining Bing first aid.
in the dream. Baining Bing had clearly
only
not
had a
been
mild
hurt, but
scratch
my
and
interference had turned it into
At
this.
that moment,
Everything I had done was
the
useless.
male and female leads were
Because
destined
Fu
to meet and
Jingchen's
fall in
first
love.
aid
Baining
was
Bing
effective.
was saved
Baining
from
Bing's
the brink
parents
of
were
death.
deeply
After
grateful
learning
to him.
about his
They even
pitiful
planned
background,
to take him
Fu
in as a
Jingchen
godson.
declined panic.
It's
Uncle,
not serious.
Baining
It's
Bing
only
was
right
saved
that
Mrs.
helped
Zhang
her.
was surprised.
You
So
two
Bing
really
Bing
are
saved you
fated.
before.
Fated filled me
I
endless
looked
despair
at
and
Fu
pain.
Jinchen.
Could not help
I was the
rising
one
in my
who
heart.
grew up with
Why
Bai
could he
Ningbing
steal
just because he was the
everything
male
so
lead.
easily? Why the me in the book?
No one
What's the
turned
treasure
evil.
they had
in their
raised
palm
without
be taken
feeling
away.
pain?
I was no
But I did
exception.
not want to end up like
Nor
in
did
the
I
book.
want to truly become the
Making
person the
things
book
you
described
Bai
for Fu
Ningbing
Jinchen.
slowly hate
Even
me.
more, I
Even
did not
his
want the
size
bite
me.
of a
Because
beast.
I
I
decided
only
to
want
let
her to
go.
recover
During that
safely,
time, I
cherishing
stayed
our
by her
final days
side,
together.
but I could never bring myself to mention
After
the
she
breakup.
recovered, she had to go
She
to
wanted
Haichan
me to
on
go with
business.
her,
I
but I
thought she had to get
refused.
used to days without me.
But on the very night she
I
left,
dreamed again.
in the dream,
She was
then spent the
drugged.
night with Fu
Seeing
Jinchen.
that scene,
I rushed
completely
to
lost
Haicheng
control
overnight.
overnight.
When I found her, without
her
thinking,
into a room,
I knocked
just
Fu
as I was
Jingchen
about to take
unconscious.
her
Image
to the
of her
hospital.
covered in blood suddenly appeared
a
before
chill
my
ran
eyes.
but
Through
asking
my
me
whole
to
body
let Fu
was
Jingchen touch
something
her.
I
I
could
could not do. I decided to be
pressed
selfish
the days
by Ning Bing
to
onto
prevent
the
her
bed.
from possibly
I
waking
used
up.
a tie to
After
cover
doing
her
all
eyes.
this,
So nervous, my heart nearly
In the
leapt
past,
into my
Bai
throat,
Ning
wanting
had
to
always
cross
clung
the
to me,
final
but I
line.
felt she was still
So
too
I
young.
had
Now,
bitterly
however,
restrained
I
myself.
did not
I
want
loved
to
to
be
be
ruined
ruined
by
by
someone
someone
else.
else.
Down along her beautiful
Past
collarbone,
the graceful curves
Bai
of
Ning
her
Bing's
body,
chest rose
her
and fell
drugged body
violently.
after my
Burned
teasing.
even
She
hotter.
cried breathlessly. Heat
Brother,
surged through
I
my
feel
chest
so
when I
awful
heard it.
that if Fu
She
Jingchen
would
had
have
come
fallen
today
into
I could not
desire
help
like
as
this
a
punishment.
punishment.
I bit her collarbone.
Brother,
Baby,
brother.
I
She
could
kept
no longer
rubbing
hold back
against me
on her collarbone.
neck. I left bite marks
But
everywhere.
she was already struggling impatiently
I had
against
no
the
choice
restraint
but to
became
move
tears
faster.
fell from my eyes.
I'm
Baby,
sorry.
I love you. I will always love you. Every
I
rise
steeled
and
myself
fall
and
in
cried
my
out my
control.
name again
Everything
and
driven
again.
by
It was all
instinct.
over.
I kissed the tears.
Then I
corners
kissed the
of her
unconscious
eyes
and
and
put
put
him
him
looking
back
at
on the
him
bed.
and shoved him onto the floor
After
again.
doing all this, I
But at the
prepared to
hotel
leave.
entrance,
I ran into the friend who,
in
had
the dream,
witnessed
found you
their
out.
affair.
Thank
You're here
goodness.
too. I was at a dinner
And
party
happened to
today.
see your
being
Bing
taken
Bing.
away by
I
a
couldn't
man.
get away
But
at
afterward,
the time.
the more
So
I thought
I found
about
out
it,
where they
the
were
more
staying
wrong
and
it felt.
rushed
To my
over.
best friend as
I
a witness.
naturally became the victim.
Perhaps that was
I could use
fine.
this to break
then
up.
Bai Ning Bing would stop
She would
clinging
forget
to
me
me.
completely.
After leaving Haicheng,
I shut myself
I
in
rushed
my room.
home. Sadness was
Giving
real.
up someone I had loved
was
for
not
so
something
long.
I could do
The guilt
easily.
was
I
real
had
too.
stolen her first
My
time.
parents
with
came
Fu
one
Jingchen.
after
I
another
ignored
to
them. They
comfort
only
me.
thought Bai
But
Ning Bing
only
had
I
wronged
knew
me.
Bai
Bai
Ning
Ning
Bing
Bing
had
called
done nothing
again
wrong.
and again.
Later,
I
she
did not
actually
answer.
came to my house
had
and
long
begged to see me.
expected that
Would not be
such a
something
sudden
she
if
would
I
have
had
kept
to follow the
easily
book
and slowly make her hate
or follow
me
the original plot
and let her face danger
just so
again
the male
and
lead
again.
could not
Get
accept
what
for
she
several
wanted.
days in a row.
My
She stood
parents
outside
knew
my
I did not
house,
want to
so
see
they
her.
did
Until
not
one
let
day
her
it
stood in the
rained.
rain for hours.
The pain
and
in my
still
heart
even
was
when I
unbearable.
pushed a glass
My
in
parents had
hand,
watched her grow
ear
up
hurt
at
at last
last.
in my
As
heart.
I
Outside
let
my
her
door,
in,
her pleading voice kept
was
sounding.
wrong. Please
Brother,
talk to me,
it was
okay?
my fault. I shouldn't have drunk. And I
I
shouldn't have
deleted all
interacted
his
with Fu
contact
Jingchen.
information.
Look at me, brother. I'm begging you. Her
Or do
voice
you
was
refuse
choked
to
with
see me
sobs.
because you think I'm
I
dirty?
opened the door.
Tears were already
She
flowing
was
freely
soaked
from
like
my
a
eyes.
drenched
She
little
reached out,
kitten, before
wanting
touching
to
me.
hug me.
I
I
looked
looked
at
at her
her back.
exposed skin.
Her neck was covered in abnormal
she had
redness.
scrubbed the
and
places with bite marks or
Brother,
even scrubbed
give me
raw.
one more
Bing
chance,
Bing,
okay?
Stop
Without
being so
me,
stubborn.
you can love someone
There
else.
won't be anyone else.
She
Without
tried in
fear,
denial.
shame,
appearance
by
did
Ning
not
Bing
affect
did
you?
not
So
deny
I knew
it
I
at
guessed
once.
right.
Wiped the tears from her
and
face.
looked at her
Bing Bing,
steadily.
you did nothing
I
wrong.
am the one
Let's
who
part
isn't good
on
enough.
good terms.
It's not
her
like
eyes
that.
reddened as she shook her head. Still
Consider
wanting
it
to
me
explain.
begging you.
By
After
Ning
saying
Bing,
that,
I
I
could
could
not
not bear
bear
to
I
look
slid
at her
down against
sorrowful
the door
face
and
and
sat on the
heard
floor.
her burst into
Brother,
tears outside.
how can you be
I
so
did not
cruel?
want to hear
I
her
messaged
crying
the
anymore.
Bai family
asking them to
parents.
send someone
Then
to
I
pick her
applied
up.
to study
I
abroad.
did not know when Bai
When I
Ning
woke
Bing
up,
left.
I was
The doctor
on a
said
full
I
drip.
had lost too much
Fortunately,
blood.
when
I
my mother
was
saw I
found
was awake,
quickly.
wiped her tears
Son,
in distress.
why would you do
Will
something so
abandon me?
foolish?
I
Us.
didn't mean that.
My heart hurt
I
too
just
much.
wanted to
I had not
distract
expected
myself
to
from the
cut
pain.
myself
After
with the
comforting
glass.
my
I brought up
mother,
studying abroad.
My mother froze on
She
the
wanted
spot.
to say something.
My
but
father
swallowed
patted
it
her
back
back
and asked her to check the kitchen
when the
for
room was
something I
empty.
could
My
eat.
father sat on a
His
chair and
expression
looked
was
at
exactly
me.
happened to you?
My fingers tightened
I
around
wanted to brush it off. My father handed me a file bag. Inside were all my movements
My
in
heart
Haicheng. Cold
jolted.
sweat
If
instantly
my father
covered
could
me.
find
Bing
this,
Bing naturally
it was
could
only
too.
because all her
was on
attention
winning
now
me back.
that she had no energy
I
to
called
investigate
weakly,
before
Dad.
I could make my request.
My father already
I've already
understood.
cleaned it
Bing
up for
Bing
you.
won't
I
find
let out
anything.
breath.
But you have to tell me what
You
happened.
are my son.
No matter how big the problem is,
Warmth
that
rose
rose
in my heart.
in the book. Mom and Dad
They
had
had
been
targeted
just like
and
this,
suppressed
only to end
Fu Jingchen
miserably.
in
I stayed
every way.
silent for a moment. I told him
I
about
only
the
left
book.
out the part where I died
After hearing
because
it,
of
my
Bai
father's
Ning
brow I'd
brows
asked for my
knitted
application
tightly.
to
He
study
began
abroad.
speeding up for
Time
me.
passed.
Years went
In
by
the blink
in a
of
rush.
an eye,
By
4 years
Minbing
had
and
passed.
Fu
Although
Jingchen
I
were
had
getting
always
married,
avoided
our
hearing
social
news about them
circles
overlapped.
I inevitably
The heavy
heard
stone
bits and
hanging
pieces.
over my
Everything
heart
seemed to have
finally
settled
fell.
me.
The cannon
They
fodder
still
ended up
troublemaker.
together.
It only took them a little longer.
I walked out of
A
the
brightly
airport.
dressed woman came
Funny
toward
one.
me.
Welcome back.
She waved to me with a
Then
smile.
she handed me a bouquet of
I
flowers.
froze for a few seconds.
She was the
before
arranged
realizing
marriage
Zhang Yi.
candidate.
My
Although it
parents
was
had
an
arranged
arranged
a
match,
whether we
so
suited
they
each
had sent
other.
me her contact
I
information
had chatted
early
with
on.
her for a while.
She was
Cheerful
also
and gentle.
she seemed like a good
Strikingly
person.
beautiful.
Smiled and accepted the bouquet.
I like it very
I'm glad
much.
you like
She
it.
smiled
I
and
followed
stood
her
beside
around
me.
the corner. But when
About
I
to
turned
take the elevator
my eyes
to
to
the
my
parking
friend
lot,
instantly, even my blood seemed to
the
stop.
banging being before
Felt
me
both
now.
familiar
A girl
and
who
strange.
had once been as soft
Was
and
dressed
sweet
in
as
a
cotton
crisp
candy
white
looked
suit.
capable
There was no
and
love
cold.
or warmth in the
Instead,
way she
her
looked
gaze
at me
was
anymore.
toward
Cold
me
as
in high
ice
heels,
steps.
landing on my long-stilled
Her overwhelming
heart.
aura made me
Bing,
step
bing,
back
I'm
half
here.
a pace.
Did I keep
A
you
low
waiting long?
male
I
voice
did not
sounded.
need to guess to know it was
Bai
Fu
Ningbing
Jingchen.
steps
Fu
paused.
Jingchen, his
Had
hair slicked
already
back. He
reached
intimately
her side.
wrapped
I
an
told
arm
you
around
there
her
was
shoulders.
driver.
An important meeting
It's
just
not
to
like I
pick
don't
me
know the
up
way.
He complained with
But
his
his
mouth.
gaze at me was
My
full
grip
of
tightened
smugness.
around the
My palm
roses.
felt as if
Once
pierced
upon
by
a time,
thorns.
Ningbing had
No
been
matter
the
where I
same.
went,
no matter when I came
she
home,
would come pick
then
me
she
up.
would rush into my arms
But
like a
now
little
that
cannonball.
privilege was no longer
Even
mine
after
alone.
4
I still
years,
could not completely let her
I
go.
forced myself to look
and
away.
gave Zhang Liyue a
Let's
fake
go
smile.
quickly.
Our parents are still
Zhang Liyue
waiting. Politely nodded to them,
prepared to
as
live
if
with me.
deliberately. Fu Jingchen called
I
out to
didn't
me.
expect you to
Long
return.
Fang Yuan, I
see.
almost didn't
This
recognize
is
you.
your girlfriend,
You
right?
two are
As
truly
he
well
took out
matched.
2 wedding invitations and
Bing
handed
Bing and
them to
I
me.
are
As
getting
an
married.
old
You
classmate,
must honor us by attending.
I tried hard
Pretending
to
not to
maintain
care,
my
I
composure.
accepted the
I'll definitely
invitation.
go.
Fine.
Then
From
I
beginning
smiled
to
and
end,
said goodbye to
Bai
them.
Ningbing
Did
did
not
not
say
say
a
a
word.
word.
Zhang Liyue and I entered
entered
the
the
elevator.
elevator.
To
Bai
close.
Ningbing's
My
gaze
heart gave
locked
a violent
firmly
turn
on me.
sideways,
Fang
hiding in the
Yuan,
blind
I shook
spot.
my head. The unease kept lingering
News
in
about
my heart.
return spread quickly through
Naturally,
the circle.
I had to
With
meet
old
up
friends
at
I
a
had
gathering
once
with
been
my
close
brothers.
to.
After everyone abated one another,
Fang Yuan,
they started
be honest.
gossiping.
As long
Did you come
as
back
you
to
say
absolutely
yes.
help you snatch
I
Bai
quickly
Ningbing
shook
back?
my head.
Bai Ningbing
Don't
and
you
I
dare
are
friend
already
trouble.
back
I
then.
would
rather have believed the earth would
Than
explode
believe you
tomorrow
two
would break
exactly
up.
happened
How
between
could Bai
you two?
Ningbing fall for
Was
Fu
there some
Jingchen?
misunderstanding
Or
between
did
you?
that pretty boy Fu Jingchen
Questions
steal your
came
girl?
one
Even
after
listed
another.
all the
From
ways
kindergarten,
I had
we
treated
had
Bai
never been
Ningbing
apart.
well. I
For
had
other
spoiled
children,
her to the
teachers
heavens.
encouraged them to eat
But
by
that never
themselves.
worked with me.
Because
I took care of
I fed
everything
her
for
whenever
Bai
she ran
Ningbing
into
and
trouble.
coaxed her
As
to
long
solve
as
it
she
for
called
her.
brother.
When we were little, the BA
Saying she
parents
had
always
found
teased
herself
her.
a child
What
bridegroom
use was
so
it that
young.
you
My
treated
friends
Bai
mocked
Ningbing so
fairly.
well? Wasn't she coaxed
Enough.
away by another
I
man?
interrupted
I did
him.
not want to
So I
stay
used the
any
bathroom
longer.
as
But when
an
I
excuse.
came out, I ran into
My
Bai
heart
Ningbing.
beat
I had not
silently
expected
sped
her
up
to
back
be
in
here
panic
too, and wanted to
4
leave.
years
Don't
have
you want
passed.
to
That
tell me?
familiar form of address made my
Heat
steps halt.
surged
But
in
I
my
said
heart.
to her,
Despite
you are about to get
you
married.
should be faithful
Calling
to your
someone
fiancé.
else that is
I
really
raised my
inappropriate.
the person behind me hugged
At
my
the
waist.
same time,
A handkerchief
when I
covered
woke up,
my mouth
I
and
was
nose.
tied to a
Aside
bed.
from one door,
The room was sealed
the
on
whole
all
room
sides.
was dazzling
the door
white.
opened.
Bai Ningbing walked
Only
in.
then
Did I remember
this
what
oppressive
happened before
atmosphere
Bai
fainted.
Ningbing's obviously
Made my
abnormal
heart hang
state?
in
Bai
fear.
Ningbing,
What are you
brother,
doing?
I just missed you
Her
so
gaze
much.
was obsessed
She
and
slowly
aggrieved.
approached me.
Stop going
Let
crazy.
me go back
My
right now.
parents will worry if they know
Why
I'm
don't you
missing.
think
Why
about
is
me?
your
mind full
Her
of other
voice
people?
suddenly
Her
turned
face was
sharp.
filled
The
with
next
coldness.
second,
She
why
grabbed
did
my
you
tie
smile
and
at
tugged
another
at
woman?
it. Why did you accept roses
How
from
could you
someone
want someone
else?
else?
Brother, you can only love
As
me.
she spoke,
She
biting
vented
and
her
kissing
anger
my
by
lips
leaning
and
down
bit my
again
lip. I
and
turned my
again.
head aside
When her
and
gaze
roared.
met my eyes,
She suddenly cried and
you
laughed.
actually yelled,
Brother,
"Don't love
I
me
could
anymore."
not say
So
something
I changed
against
the
my
subject.
heart.
You plan to lock
By
me up
Ningbing.
forever?
Brother, believe
No.
I did not know what she truly intended
Fortunately,
to do.
after learning
And they
she
would
used
not
my phone
worry
to
about
fool my
where I
parents,
was.
no longer
By
so
Ningbing
anxious.
still treated me
Aside
as
from
well
locking
as
me up
everything
before.
I ate,
Even
wore,
after I
and used,
said I did
followed
not
my
want to move
preferences.
freely
Bag.
around the villa.
But as her wedding date with Fu Jingchen
She
approached,
still showed no sign
it
of
made
letting
me
me
feel
go.
like a kept lover
and every
she
day
had caged
she actively
for her
prepared
wedding with
so
Fu
every
Jingchen.
time she came near,
One night,
it only made
when
me
she
suffer
once
more.
again wanted
I
to
shouted,
sleep by my
"Bai
bed,
Ningbing,
stop coming near
do
me.
you know how
Bai Ningbing
disgusting
froze
this
for a
is?"
She began taking off her
I
clothes.
was shocked
And climbed off the bed.
You are
Bai
about to get
Ningbing.
married.
What is this supposed to
As
be?
if she could not
Her
hear
hands
me.
kept moving.
She gradually stripped
I did
off
not
her clothes.
I turned my
Look.
eyes away and
But the
tried
door
to leave
had
the
a
room.
keypad.
I
I could not open
just
it
when I
at
thought she
all.
was going to force
She
me
only
into
begged
something.
in a
And
sick,
humble voice.
obsessive,
I've watched for
rather
years My heart
at me.
I
I'm not
wrapped
dirty
a quilt
anymore.
around
Bing,
her.
bing.
I never
You're
thought
not
you were
dirty.
dirty.
She took the
Then
chance
you
to
want
hug
me.
me.
Removed her
Bing,
arms.
bing.
You are
This
getting
is
married.
wrong. My words somehow
The
angered
person
her.
who had been crying
Immediately
pitifully
became
just
cold
now
and
sharp.
My hand had
still
been
mind
cuffed
it
by
by
her.
her?
Mind? You should lock me up
So
and
I can
punish me.
only
But
ever
you
see
only
you.
want to
Do you
bend
not
bend
love
me
me
at
at
all?
all?
Her sick state startled me.
I had no doubt that something
she
was wrong with her
forcefully
mind.
tried
I
to
became
remove
even
my
more
clothes.
certain of
Wash
it.
me clean.
After throwing
Okay?
away
She
the
tugged
quilt,
at
my
I remember
pants.
every place
Help
someone
me
else
wash them
touched me.
clean,
By
okay?
kneading.
Let's
I
go.
tried hard to
Wake
hold
up,
my
but she
pants in
stubbornly
place.
believed
And it
that
did
if
not
I was
punish
not
her. I was
angry,
both
then I did
furious
not love her.
and
Those marks were all
anxious.
made
You
by
are
me
not
back
dirty.
then. That she
I
would
had
angrily
already
ask why
expected,
I
but
had
she
done
shook her
it.
head. refusing to believe
she
me,
grabbed at her own
obsessively
skin,
demanding
demanding
that
that I
I
punish
would
her.
not believe me,
into my
stopping her
arms.
from hurting herself
want me to
again.
punish
Then
you
how
that
can you try to
badly?
hurt yourself? She froze for a moment. Then
It has
nodded.
to be done by
Brother
you.
person
Right.
who had been
Suddenly
so
became
forceful,
as obedient
with
as a
reddened
kitten
eyes
in my
she
arms.
locked me up, keep me
Brother,
confined.
when I will belong
For a
only
moment,
to you.
I
Seeing
was
me
speechless.
silent.
She continued crying.
Why won't
brother.
you help wash
I
me
held
clean?
her head and coaxed her
I'll
softly.
wash you clean now.
Then should you unlock the chain on my hand first?
She found the key and
Then
unlocked
she
me.
obediently lay on
I
the
laughed
bed,
helplessly,
waiting for me to move.
shook my
She asked
head,
in
and
confusion,
carried her
"Binding
up.
Brother, don't you like doing it on the bed?"
silently
And
shut
shut
her
her
mouth.
I carried her into the bathroom, but
and
she
filled the
reached
tub
out and
wanting me
pulled
to get into the
I
bathtub with
glanced
her.
over her curvy
Then
body,
turned my head
or I'll
away.
get angry.
Behave.
Only then did she sit
I
obediently
tried my
and
best
wait,
to control my
repeating
gaze,
calming thoughts
but Bai
in my
Ningbing
mind.
had no sense of
She
danger.
grabbed my hand and
I pulled
guided
my
it to her
hand back as
sensitive
a
area.
shock.
Wash there yourself.
Then she actually
started crying.
You
I don't-
still despise
Heaven
me.
knows how
To
badly
bully
I wanted
her
to
until
tease
she
her.
could
In the
not
end,
even cry.
throughout the whole
Compromise.
process, I nearly bit
After
my own
washing
lip
her
open
clean
and
I
carrying her back
returned
to
to the
bed. I
bathroom.
forced myself not to let out
When I
even the
returned to the
slightest
bed,
sound.
I held her
as we
That
slept. Perhaps
night,
because there were too many
I
things
did
on my
not
mind.
sleep
So
deeply.
when Bai Ningbing left the
I
room
knew
in the
clearly
middle
and
of the night,
quietly followed
there's
her.
actually a basement in the house.
Unfortunately,
As
the
soon
door
as Bai
had password
Ningbing
locked.
went
I had no
in,
choice
it locked
but to
and
automatically
lay on the
go
bed.
into the
Almost
room.
2
2
hours
hours
later,
later,
came back
in
again.
the darkness, she held my hand
Brother,
and kissed it by her
everything will be
lips.
over
I
soon.
did not
But I
understand
was
what
sure
she
it had
meant.
something to do with
The
the
next
basement.
day,
I
after
found
Bai
the basement
Ningbing left,
entrance.
it was a 6-digit
I tried Bai
keypad
Ningbing's
lock.
birthday.
My birthday, and even all kinds of anniversaries.
Only when I entered the
but
date
none were.
we
Did the
broke
door
up.
open?
It was
But
also a
unlike
basement.
the place where
This
Bai
basement was
Ningbing
dark,
had once
gloomy,
kept me
and
and cold.
beast.
As I went
I
deeper,
saw a
there were
reclining chair,
restraint
as
straps
well
on it,
as
medicine,
electrical
and more.
equipment.
I
My
could more
heart
or less
filled
guess
with
it was
fear.
for treating
So
mental
Bai Ningbing
illness.
really
But after
did have
searching
a
through
mental
her things,
disorder.
could not find what
I
illness
had
she
put
was
everything
treating.
back for
Planned
now.
to ask Bai Ningbing when I had a chance.
just come up from the basement.
My heart
when I
jumped.
saw
Fu
the expecting
Jinchen,
his way
Fu
to
Jinchen.
Bai
Fu Jinchen
Ningbing's
looked
place.
down at me from above.
You really
Fang
are like a
Yuan.
ghost
As a supporting
won't leave.
character, you should know
Otherwise,
your place.
your ending will
A
be
supporting
miserable.
character. So Fu
What are you
Jinchen
talking
knew
about?
he was the male
I
lead.
don't
Fu Jinchen
understand.
laughed.
If you
I
don't
pretended.
understand, why did
Everything
you go
had
abroad
practically
back
been
then?
laid
Bai
bare.
Ningbing's
You
mind
know that,
had
right?
a problem.
Sank. I looked straight at
What
him.
exactly
I just
are you
want to
trying to
advise
say?
you.
Never to appear in front of her
Otherwise,
again. When she goes mad,
But why
it
do
will
I
all be
feel
because
that
of you.
if
She
I
will be the
leave,
one
Fu
to go
Jinchen,
mad.
so
I hope you can
Nicole
still smile. When Bai Ningbing
After
and I
driving
get
the
married,
unwelcome
I
guest
began
away.
thinking about how to get
When
Bai
Bai
Ningbing
Ningbing
to
talked,
talk.
I tried asking
but could not get
indirectly.
anything out of her.
In the end,
I had to use my trump
alcohol
card and get her
tolerance
drunk.
had always
That
been
year.
poor.
She
So
had not
when
touched
I fed
the
her
drop.
wine
She
mouth
had
to
no
mouth.
power to
Her
resist
eyes
at
shone
all.
filled with
Frighteningly
excitement
bright.
and something
Brother,
unpredictable.
more. I
Letting
handed
her
her the
drink by
glass. She
herself.
boldly sat on my lap,
Rubbing her head
I
against
want
my
brother.
shoulder.
She drank
Feed me
quietly.
a
My
lot.
lips were kissed
Looking
by
at Bai
more than a
Ningbing,
few
whose
times.
eyes
I
had gone
directly, do
hazy.
you have a
Bai
mental
Ningbing,
illness?
No, how could I be sick?
Then what are the things in the
At the
basement
mention
for?
of this, she suddenly
sorry,
hugged
brother.
me
I'm
and cried.
dirty.
Other people keep
My
appearing
brain
in my head.
is no
I
longer
clearly
under
don't
my
like
control.
my
mind is full of
doing
memories
all
with
kinds
him.
of intimate
He is like a
things with
curse,
him.
always appearing in my life.
in my
only
mind.
saying
But I
love
clearly
him.
only
But
love
now
brother.
I can already control
Every
it.
cell in my body
If
says
any
I
man
hate
other than
him.
brother
I will
touches me,
throw
from
up.
her answer,
I
in
seem
Bai
to
Ningbing's
understand.
mind,
There were memories of her and
those
Fu
memories
Jinchen from the
influenced
book.
her heart
even
told
more
her
deeply.
she did not
but
love
her
Fu
brain was
Jinchen.
deeply branded.
believe that
It was
she
as if
loved
someone had
Fu
taken
Jinchen.
the
Stuffed
emotions
them
from
back
the
to her
book.
head.
Why? When I said
She
I was the
refused
one
to
to
believe
leave
it.
it.
I really
with
did
her.
clean him out of my
Please
head.
don't abandon
I
me,
held her
okay?
face and kissed her lips.
Baby, from now on,
I'll
once
work
thought
through
Bai
it with you.
Ningbing had truly
Now
developed
it
feelings
seems that
for
was
Fu
only the
Jinchen's
my heart
influence.
ached
I had
terribly.
actually made her face all
On
this
the wedding
alone
day,
Bai
before.
Ningbing woke me early in
Brother,
the morning. I'm going to marry
I
someone
hugged
else.
her and
Go
kissed
on.
her.
You don't care about me
Her
at all.
resentment
Completely
almost
drowned
drowned
me.
me.
Phone kept ringing.
All of them urging her
The
to
noise
hurry.
made me
Go to the
sit
wedding
up.
venue
Follow
quickly.
the process
Do not do
obediently. Bai
anything.
Ningbing stared at me
Her eyes
steadily.
full of
I
grievance.
kissed her lips. You are my baby.
I definitely
Go
won't
without
abandon
worry.
you.
I'll give you a surprise.
Her eyes lit up.
Then she wrapped her arms around my
noon,
neck
the
and
wedding
kissed
venue
me.
was
Under
packed with
everyone's
guests, Fu
gaze.
Jingchen appeared in a black
Fine
suit.
Bing stood there, looking
Only
around
when
everywhere.
I appeared, her cold brows and eyes softened
Under
like
everyone's
spring water.
gaze,
I
I walked
smiled
onto
and
the
held out my
stage.
hand to Bai Ningbing.
Will you leave with
Bai
me?
Ningbing
Baby,
lifted her skirt
I'm here
with
to steal the
pleasure.
bride.
All the guests
Fu
were
Jingchen's
shocked. Face turned ugly as he
Look
said
at me.
to
You
Bai
love
Ningbing,
me. You are going to
Bai
marry
Ningbing's
me.
face
was
I don't
full
love
of
you.
disgust.
Beginning to end.
No,
I have only
Ning
loved
and
Fang
Fang
Yuan
once
Fu
together.
Jingchen vomit a
Then
mouthful
some
of blood.
empty
It was
place
truly
in the air.
terrifying. After the wedding ended without
attitude
results,
of
was
the
probably that
bi-parents.
even they
They
found
did
it
not know
absurd.
how they had
And
once
Fu
led
Jingchen
by
over the
leading.
years, they had even treated Fu
Besides
Jingchen
supporting
like
his
their
studies,
own
they
son.
had allowed him into the
Treating him
family
like
compound
that
was
never
one thing.
imagined
And
agreeing
without
to this
even
marriage.
asking Bai
According to
Ningbing's
Bai,
wish,
it
it
had
had
been
been
like being
That
hypnotized.
did remind me of something.
Bai Ningbing really needed to see
Over
a
the years,
psychiatrist. She had been pulled between
Aside from
reality
knowing that
and
everything
everything
else
else
was
was
right,
real
mixed
and
into
false.
confusion,
Even now,
that
she
I
still
was the
did
one
not
who had
believe.
been with her back
Fortunately,
then.
it was
I
my
laid
father
all the
who had
materials
cleaned
out in
things
front
up
of
back
Bai
sounded
Ningbing.
truly
But I
foolish
had to
when
make Bai
explained.
Ningbing
Then
understand.
she had never been
After
dirty.
reading those materials, I
Bai
apologized
Ningbing
guiltily.
I was too
expressionless.
stupid
Brother,
back
I'm
then.
sorry. It's okay.
She
The
leaned
next second,
obediently
a
into my
handkerchief
arms.
covered my
you
mouth
made me
and
suffer
nose
for
for
so
so
long.
long. Only two
Before I
words
fainted,
flashed through my
when
mind.
I woke up again,
I
I'm
had
done.
been stripped and tied
My
to the
body
bed.
was unbearably
Baby,
hot.
what did you
Bai
do to
Ningbing
me? Held a belt
struck
in
her
her
hand
across
I
my
only fed
chest.
brother something
It will
good.
make brother feel a little
During
better.
the punishment
Knowing
that
I was in the
followed,
wrong.
not dare
Only
show
when
the
my chest had
slightest
been
did she take the
dissatisfaction.
belt and
Brother, it's
slowly
so
moved
naughty.
downward.
My heart filled
Baby,
with
I was
alarm.
really
Don't.
wrong.
Brother
The strike
cried
had
so
already fallen.
painfully.
The
Smiled
cuff
wildly.
was
In
shaken
the next
loose by
second,
me.
I pressed her beneath
Now
me.
it's her turn to
Baby,
cry. After
I
the wedding
thought I would
ended,
never have anything
knew
to
he
do
would
with
actually
Fu
kidnap
Jingchen
me?
again.
Why
Get to be
should
with
a
a
female
supporting
leading character
character
like
like
you?
you?
Why can't she love me?
From his fragmented, mad words, I learned that he had tried to
The
win
first
Bai
time he had
Ningbing
taken my
over
current
growing up
identity,
with
but
Bai
Bai
Ningbing as
Ningbing
childhood
instead did not
sweetheart.
love him.
Love
In
with
life
the
and
life
death,
of
we
me.
deliberately chose my
Copying
previous
my way of
identity
pursuing Bai Ningbing.
unfortunately.
Bai
So,
Ningbing
he used something
still did
from the
not love
system
him.
to
His method
hypnotize
was
Bai
no
Ningbing.
different
The price
from
was
cheating.
that once he failed,
At the
he
wedding
would die.
venue, Fu Jingchen did not hesitate.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately,
over the
again,
past
Bai
4
Ningbing
years,
had tortured
Bai
herself
Ningbing's
into
confession
immunity.
to me
Fu
was the
Jingchen
best
had to
that
counter
in the
himself
end,
for 2
all his
lifetimes, and
efforts
his
came
life
to
had
nothing.
reached
When Bai
its
Ningbing
final
arrived,
moment.
Fu Jingchen was holding a knife to my
Seeing
neck.
Bai
He
Ningbing,
lost control a
"You
little.
love me,
Don't
Bing.
you love me? And I'll let
Say
him
it."
go.
Bai Ningbing looked
I
at
love
me
you,
and
brother.
smiled faintly.
Fu
I
Jingchen
seized the
completely
chance
broke down.
and stabbed him with my elbow.
In the blink of
between
an
us.
eye, he was subdued.
Bai
Her
Ningbing
whole
held
body
me tightly.
the
way
way
she
she
looked at Fu
made it
Jingchen
seem as
I
if she
hugged Bai
wanted to
Ningbing
flay
back
him
tightly
alive.
and
all right.
comforted her.
She
I
kept
kept
rubbing her head
against
and
my
only
chest.
after a
Fang
while
Yuan,
did she
only
let
you.
go. I
know.
kissed her
I
forehead.
love
Only
you.
you. Bai
3
Ningbing
months
proposed
later,
later.
she had prepared the wedding
Back
for a long
then,
time.
I had thought she prepared it
Later,
for Fu Jingchen.
I heard that if I had not gone to
she
steal the
still
bride,
would not have married
according
Fu
to her
Jingchen.
plan,
She would have proposed to
and
me
had
that
already
day.
prepared herself to be
Fortunately,
rejected.
I was finally
When it came
brave
to
for
marrying
once.
Bai
My friend
Ningbing,
nearly scolded
he was
me to
afraid
death
I had
and
lost
would
my mind
sacrifice
in
my
love
heart
for
to
introduce
and
me
even
to a man.
encouraged
girlfriend.
Zhang
Liwei
Li
was
keep
so
that
angry.
very day.
Then
Her
she
face
dragged
was
me to
dark
get our
moments,
marriage
declaring her
certificate. Fang Yuan
ownership.
is mine, my Fang Yuan. So I told
My friend
him
was so
exactly
angry
what
his
had
eyes
happened.
back
It
then.
made him want to
Bai
beat me
Ningbing's
up.
reputation
But she
was
also
cleared
gained the
thanks
title
to
of
her
love
love
ring.
otherwise
Otherwise,
with
with
my
my
personality.
We would never have had a happy ending.